You need Waystones to access maps. If you don't have any, you can buy some from Doriani. Their inventory refreshes every time you level, so if you're struggling to sustain Waystones early on, make sure you keep checking Doriani. Waystones can be tier 1 to tier 16. The higher the tier, the higher the level of the monsters, and consequently, the better potential of loot in said Waystones. You can craft Waystones just like any other item in game, being able to upgrade them to rare with 6 modifiers. If you hold Alt over the Waystone, you can see it has prefixes and suffixes. The prefixes generally increase loot potential in the area, with modifiers ranging from things like increased quantity and rarity, pack size, increased chance of magic or rare monsters, more chests, strong boxes, etc. Suffixes increase the Waystone drop chance at the top here, but also make the map harder by increasing monster difficulty with modifiers like increased elemental damage, increased attack speed, resistance penetration, or reduces the player stats in some way, applies the player with various curses, or adding ground debuffs such as shocked or burning ground to the map. As a general rule of thumb, you should only be upgrading tier 1 to 10 Waystones to magic. Once you hit around tier 11-12, it's more worthwhile to invest a little bit more into upgrading Waystones with an Orb of Alchemy, and potentially Exalts depending on what your stockpile looks like. Personally, I find it worthwhile to Exalt my tier 12 plus Waystones until they have a full 6 modifiers. The map here is infinite in every direction, so I recommend not thinking about it too hard and just picking a direction to start with. Each of the nodes here are portals we can open with a Waystone. Blue means we can activate it right now, green means completed, and these white or clear ones we don't have access to yet because we haven't completed a connecting node. If we click a node, it tells us what area we'll be opening at the top. In the middle we have different mechanics we can encounter. Currently you can get Ritual, Reach, Simulacrum, Expedition and Map Bosses as main mechanics, with Irradiated and Corrupted as additional modifiers, which both grant +1 to monster level. Once you've completed the campaign, you'll start receiving quests to complete tier 1 or above Waystones. Once you've completed that quest, you'll receive 2 Atlas skill points and a similar quest for the next tier of Waystones. If your quest is asking you to complete a tier 1 Waystone and you complete a tier 2, it will still count towards progressing your quest. To progress the quest, you have to complete a Waystone. Completing a Waystone means killing every rare on the map, and if there's a boss, killing that too. You don't have to do any other mechanic for the map or quest completion, but you should aim to clear all of them if you can. Lost towers can be found around the map. We can open them with a Waystone, and once complete we can use them to send a buff out to all the nodes within a certain range. It's believed that the map value of towers is pretty low, and a lot of people recommend using lower tier Waystones for them, so you can save higher tiers for normal nodes. After completing the Lost Tower, you can use a Precursor Tablet to add a specified mechanic to a specified number of nodes within range. Precursor Tablets can add Rituals, Reach, Simulacrums, Expeditions, or Irradiation to an area. On top of that, the Precursor Tablet will grant its additional effect to every map node within range. For example, this Precursor Tablet adds the Ritual mechanic to 9 maps within range, but also gives every single map within range 18% increased quantity of items found. You can't upgrade the Precursor Tablets to rare, but you can add modifiers to them with a Transmute and Augmentation Orb. Each tablet can have a prefix and a suffix. The prefix modifier is always a general buff for every map within range of the tower. If the tablet is a mechanic specific, i.e. not irradiated tablet, then the suffix modifier will always be aimed at the same mechanic that the tablet is. For example, Ritual tablet suffixes will always be something like rerolling favours cost less tribute, so will only be applied to maps that contain a ritual. Irradiated tablet suffixes modifier is a general buff like map has chance to contain shrines, and will be applied to all maps within range. The modifiers that Precursor tablets apply to every map within range can be stacked. This is how we start to add more potential, or juice, to the maps we're running. When juicing, we want to prepare our area by pathing to every Lost Tower around to stack as many Precursor tablets as we can, adding more juice each time to the map in the surrounding area. We can't stack multiple of the same mechanic like 2 rituals on one node, but we can add one of every mechanic to a single node. Our aim should be to clear out as many towers as we can with the least amount of pathing possible, to prepare an area we want to juice. We can then buff that area with the mechanics we want to run, and as many irradiated tablets as we can for maximum potential. Hideouts are also scattered around the map. Once completed for the first time, you unlock that hideout for personal use. You need to unlock at least one hideout this way before you gain access to a personal hideout. Hideouts are the weakest of nodes I've come across so far. It's a very small map with not a lot of monsters on it, so it's also worth saving your better Waystones when going into these. There are also some other special nodes you can come across like unique areas, which have their own list of special modifiers, or a special merchant whom can give to you absolutely insane items, but usually won't. Every time you complete a quest for Doriani, you're rewarded with 2 Atlas passives. The main tree in the middle is straightforward. The only recommendation I have is to start by getting constant crossroads as soon as you can. This will help with the Waystone drop rates, and then just start by experimenting with whatever looks good to you. You can respec at any time with Doriani, but if you're really stuck for what to do, here's the tree I'm using. It's nothing special, but feel free to take inspiration from it. Around the edges we have side trees for each map mechanic we can encounter. Normal Atlas skill points can't be spent in them. You need to complete special mechanic bosses or encounters that you can gain access to after farming the desired mechanic enough, i.e. a special ritual boss you will unlock after farming rituals. If you found this guide useful, drop a like and subscribe to see more content like this in the future.